Hi everybody, and welcome back to Lost Genre Mother-in-Law Stories. Being pregnant and having a baby is a very special moment for both future parents. Of course, it is also a very important time to the future grandparents, unless one of those grandparents tries to make it all about them. And that is what OP is going through with her mother-in-law. So I'm not gonna give anything away now, and we can get started with this one story video. This was from user BabyThrowaway052590. Me and husband of 2 years having a baby. His mom embarrassed me by throwing me an unwanted party. My husband Brandon is 29, I'm 25. We've been married a little over 2 years and we're having a baby. I'm due in 18 weeks. I chose not to do any kind of pregnancy announcement, and I haven't really talked about it much at all on social media. That's just my preference. I've always been a private person, and I kind of don't see my pregnancy as anyone's business but my own and Brandon's. We actually didn't tell anyone at all until I was about 16 weeks along. Brandon's parents are super excited, but that's the problem. His mom immediately started telling everyone she knew. She made it her Facebook status and it got lots of comments and likes. She, according to Brandon's dad, stood up in church and announced it to everyone. And anytime I've gone anywhere with her, she likes to point out my bump to waiters, retail clerks, you name it. It's very annoying. I made it clear to her that I didn't want a baby shower or a gender reveal party. That's apparently a thing she saw on Pinterest and insisted we have, even though we've told her we're waiting to find out the sex. When I told her we didn't plan to do a birth announcement just like we didn't do a pregnancy announcement, she blew me off and said, "Of course you will, that's silly, why wouldn't you?" She also has bought me loads of maternity clothes, even though I already have plenty that a friend gave me. She's constantly trying to get me to tell her the gender. I don't effing know it, so she can decorate a nursery for the baby and buy clothes, all of which I've said I don't need her to do, graciously of course. And she emails me articles about parenting and breastfeeding and stuff, day and night, which I would normally be okay, but much of it is religiously affiliated and I'm not about that life, which she is well aware of. It probably seems like I'm not excited about the baby. I totally am. I just don't like to be the center of attention or to talk about my personal life. When the baby is born, I'll send pictures individually to friends and family who request them, because I'm not a fan of people who incessantly post about their children online, and also because there are creepers out there and you just never know. Brandon and I are definitely minimalists. The baby isn't going to have mountains of toys or 50 outfits for every day of the week, but his mother is having none of that. One Saturday morning, I get a call from Brandon's sister Erica, 24 female, and she tells me that she and her mom are stranded at a craft fair because their car ran out of gas. And could I please come get them? I offer to bring them a gas can. She quickly says, "No, that's okay, please just pick us up." That should have been my first clue that something was odd. Brandon was at work when this happened, by the way. So I leave to go get them, and I text Erica to say I'm in the parking lot of this place where there's supposedly a craft fair. She texts back and says, "Oh, come inside really quick, we have something to show you." Keep in mind, I had not planned on getting out of the car. I was wearing an old t-shirt of my husband's with paint stains on it. Old leggings which don't really fit me anymore, so they may have been slightly see-through. A pair of flip-flops. My greasy hair was up in a bun and I was sweating like a pig, which I do more of while pregnant, but especially in the 80-degree heat. I go inside and guess what? It's an effing surprise baby shower. With only friends of Brandon's mom, of course. None of my friends or my sister or anyone I actually know. And okay, I'm not proud of this, but I'd had enough and I was humiliated to say the least. I just stared at Erica and Brandon's mom after everyone yelled surprise, and I said, "Why did you think this was a good idea after I've told you I don't want any parties?" And then I just left. They immediately started blowing up my phone, but I ignored them and called Brandon. He had no knowledge of this and was just as angry as I was. I know I should have been more gracious and at least feigned illness or something, but I was so blindsided and I just wanted out of the situation. When Brandon got home, we listened to all the voicemails his mom left us, calling me ungrateful and a bee and a spoiled brat. She made it seem like I'd left the party because it wasn't up to my standards or something. She was upset that I made her look bad in front of her friends, which I guess I do feel bad about, and said that I was making my pregnancy all about me, and that I won't be a good mom if I can't even treat her with respect. Erica was apparently not aware of the fact that I specifically said I didn't want a party and apologized for not warning me, so I'm not mad at her. His mom is also demanding I pay her back all the money she spent on the party, which was apparently catered by a fancy company. If I'd known that, I might have actually stayed, because I feel really guilty that she spent so much. I need to know, first of all, whether I'm being unreasonable in not wanting a giant spectacle made of this pregnancy, and what we should say to her. I do plan on apologizing for making her look bad, but I don't know if I'm obligated to pay her back for the party. Brandon has said that he'll talk to her, but I do feel like I need to address this because I want to be able to set boundaries with her, and I can't always have Brandon step in for me. I think she should have a relationship with our kid, but I don't want her ignoring my wishes because I feel like if I let that happen now, next time it'll be something else that she oversteps me on. She's the only grandmother our baby will have. My mom died a few years ago, so I don't want to cut her off completely. Edit to add. We told her we didn't want anything extravagant, that our house doesn't have room for a lot of toys, and that we didn't want the baby having tons of toys and clothes anyways because it's not necessary. Almost daily, she tells my husband of all the new things she bought for the baby, things we specifically told her we don't need. She's continued to do it anyways. The gifts are also not really gifts. She never gives anything without there being strings attached, which Brandon knew and was a huge reason why we told her no material gifts. I've never said anything but thank you to her, but I still feel it's just a blatant disregard for what we told her. If she brings the stuff over, I honestly don't know where I'd put it. Our house doesn't have a ton of storage, so much of it will end up getting donated. So, on this original post, OP is telling us that her mother-in-law is not paying attention to any of her requests, and is really trying to make the pregnancy all about her. So now we're gonna move on to additional information OP has given us in order to have a bigger picture of this whole story. I got off the phone with Erica a little bit ago. This is what I learned from her. There were only about 6 other women there. I thought there were more at the time. No one at the party had brought me a gift. My mother-in-law had wrapped up some gifts she already told me she'd bought for me and told everyone else not to bring me one. Erica had planned to give me a little homemade coupon book for things like babysitting. When she called me, she told me word for word what mother-in-law told her to say. She also thought I was coming dressed for a party, and when she saw me, she was surprised I dressed so sloppy. After I left, Erica explained what they'd said to get me to come out, and some of the women my mother-in-law had invited confronted her and told her what she did was disrespectful and mean-spirited. I'm inclined to agree. The party was catered, but it almost certainly did not cost what my mother-in-law told me and Brandon it did. This is all further solidifying that my mother-in-law did not do this to honor me or to be nice to me. Erica believes that she did it to get back at me for not listening to any of her advice, which she'd apparently been whining about before I got there. Some of her advice has consisted of telling me I'm ridiculous for having a home birth, for planning to use cloth diapers, and for planning to make my own baby food. Dumb crap like that. Erica is just as angry at my mother-in-law because she lives and goes to school in Houston and we live in Austin. It's a 2.5-hour drive for her and she thought it was a real baby shower. If there was ever any doubt in my mind that my mother-in-law is a narcissist, there isn't anymore. Brandon is on his way home and I'll fill him in on everything. She knew very well I didn't want this party. Some people have told me that I'm being too introverted. Sorry? That's how I am, and everyone I'm close to knows it. My husband and I didn't even have a wedding for F's sake. We went to the courthouse. Of course, mother-in-law was beside herself. We decided we were getting married, and Brandon knew I wouldn't want a wedding. Plus, we didn't have much time to plan one anyway, so we picked out rings and then went to the courthouse. We told everyone afterward, and the only person who had anything to say about us not having a wedding was mother-in-law. I'm glad we skipped it, especially now because she would have wanted to be the center of attention anyway. I'm not into parties, it is what it is. I'm glad for everyone's support, and for those of you who were mad at me for feeling the way I did, maybe now it makes a little more sense. We will see her hopefully sometime this week to talk to her, but I am not all that confident things will end well. I'm seeing my mother-in-law in a different light now, and it kind of scares me. We are in this together, and I really don't want to cut her off. I actually want to avoid that as much as possible. My husband is the one who brought it up because he can't believe she'd treat his wife like she has been. This would also not be the first time he ceased communication with her. I said in my post that I want her to be part of the baby's life, but if she refuses to respect me, I would rather her not be. And I wouldn't want my child to think it's okay to let people treat you the way she's treated me. Don't get me wrong, I don't mind her being excited about the baby. I just don't like her making a spectacle out of me in public. Also, here's a few things from your comments that I'd like to address. 1. Brandon's mom has never cared for me. Some people seemed to be under the impression that we were close because we've gone places together. She only began to take a real interest in me when I got pregnant. We are not and have never been close. She's always blamed me for her son not having gone to church in the 5 years I've been with him, even though he's been an atheist since he was 12. She also thinks I convinced him not to get a master's degree. I literally had no part in that decision. When I met him, he was already well finished with undergrad and had no intention of continuing. 2. There really was no miscommunication. His mother broached the subject by telling me her plans for my baby shower, not asking me if I wanted one, telling me she was going to throw me one. I said thank you, but that I didn't feel I needed one and that we could do something different. She persisted, and I said I really did not want one because it would make me uncomfortable. She then said, okay, and I thought the subject was dropped. I thought about suggesting a family dinner where we could all share stories about childhood and parenting and have cake and whatnot. It sounded like a happy medium to me, but then she sprang the shower on me. 3. For everyone telling me that I should have stayed and toughed it out, I will reiterate that when they called me to the shower under false pretenses, I was wearing an old t-shirt with paint stains, leggings that were getting too small for me so they were a little see-through and not something I'd generally wear out of the house. Flip-flops, greasy hair in a bun, and it was 80 degrees out so I was hot and sweaty. I did not think I had to get out of the car because I thought I was just picking them up. This is absolutely relevant. If I had been dressed appropriately, I would probably have stayed for a while before being like, oh, my aching body part. Ha ha ha, pregnancy, gotta go, thanks. Some of you believe I shouldn't have cared what I was wearing. I have a feeling those people were men, because I don't know a single woman that would tell me she'd show up to any party smelling like crap and looking even worse. 4. Some people also seemed to be under the impression that she did this to be nice. I thought so at first too. But the fact is, she did it after I explicitly told her no. She tricked me into coming. She didn't invite a single person close to me, just people she knew. And when I justifiably did not stay, she called me a B and said I would be a bad mother. Many of you made me realize that this was done for her, not for me. And for those of you who said I should have stayed to make her happy, couldn't you say the same about her? That she should have just not thrown a party she knew I wouldn't appreciate and that I'd feel uncomfortable at? I get the feeling if there'd been a post saying my daughter-in-law is so unreasonable for not letting me throw her a baby shower, it'd be downvoted and she'd be taken to task for her presumptuousness and disrespect for my wishes. And 5, a few people also said I sounded like I wasn't letting her be excited about the baby. I probably worded some things wrong. I was not upset that she told people at church or that she made it her Facebook status, although the intrusive messages I got from some of her friends did bother me, but I never said anything about it to her. There is a huge difference between being excited and her using my pregnancy as a means of getting attention. It makes me feel objectified, and I don't like it. Alright, and now you have all of the information from the original post laid out in front of you. So what do you think? Is the mother-in-law a narcissist, yes or no? Did she do this whole thing for her, or did she do it for OP? Let me know what you think in the comment section, and now we're gonna move on to the update to get closure on this whole thing. Not long after I made my Reddit post, Erica called me. She was back in Houston and wanted to let me know that she was sorry about what happened and that she thought the shower was legit. She was surprised when she didn't see anyone that could have been my friends or my sister, and even more surprised when I came in dressed like I was. Erica then told me that her mother had been complaining all day about how I won't take her advice or anything pregnancy related. It asked, do what she says without question. How I won't tell her the sex, I don't know it, and how I'm not excited about being pregnant, because I don't like it when she tries to parade me around so she can get attention, and because I don't want her posting baby pictures on Facebook when the baby's born. Erica surmised that this party was meant to put me in my place, as did a few of the people mother-in-law invited. We took advice from many of you. Yesterday, Brandon went to his mom's house on his lunch break and told her in so many words that she was allowed to be excited, but she was not allowed to try to run the show. He repeated that she cannot post baby pictures to Facebook or else she won't be getting any. If family and friends want copies, I'll send them straight away, but they're not going online as long as we can help it. He told her that the shenanigans with pointing out my belly to random people are to stop, as are the inquiries about the baby's gender, her criticisms, and her gifts with strings attached. He said we wouldn't pay her back for the party I didn't want, and for her to even ask was manipulative. And lastly, he said that she was to apologize for humiliating me, for ignoring what I wanted in favor of what she wanted, and for calling me names and saying I'll be a bad mom. He said those were the terms, she could take them or leave them. If she chose not to take them, then she would not have a relationship with our baby or with us. So at this point, it was up to her. I told him to make sure she knew I wasn't against her seeing the baby. I just wanted her to stop stirring the pot and accept that this is my pregnancy and my child, not hers. She vehemently denied that she asked us for money or called me a B. We have the effing voicemails, and that I never told her I didn't want a baby shower. BS. Then she said that she would think about it, but that she still felt I owed her an apology for storming out and not staying. Brandon asked her how she expected me to do that dressed the way I was, and her response was, "It's not my fault she's a slob." That was it for Brandon. He got up to leave and said, "If you plan on treating my wife with respect, call me and let me know. Otherwise, you can forget about ever seeing the baby." Mother-in-law called him a few hours later while he was at work to say she was sorry and that she wanted to see the baby. Brandon replied that she needed to say it to me, not him, and that I'd be waiting for her call. That was 8 hours ago. Has she called me? Nope. I'll give it some time. If and when she decides to call, I won't gloat. I'll be gracious and accept her apology, assuming it's sincere and not the kind that goes like, "Sorry you took it that way, but..." So now we're just playing the waiting game. I got a lot of support from many of you who suggested I visit r/raised by narcissists. I subscribed on my regular account and it's been really eye-opening. I've read some of the stories aloud to my husband, who keeps saying, "Yep, sounds just like my mom." We decided that we're going to plan a little baby moon for next month, and that'll give us something to look forward to, other than the baby being born, obviously. I'm just trying not to let his mom take up too much space in my head. I really hope she comes around because, like I said, I want our baby to have a grandmother. The ball's in her court, so we'll see how it goes. Thanks again to everyone who was supportive. I really appreciate it, and so does Brandon. And that's it. I gotta say, I really liked the spine on both OP and her husband. She did not let her mother-in-law push her over and definitely does not want to set a precedent where mother-in-law can overstep boundaries. And also the husband standing up to leave and telling her, "Hey, when you decide to be courteous or, show us respect, then give us a call. If not, then we're out of your life." Fantastic. That was fantastic. What do you guys think? Do you think the mother-in-law is going to call OP and apologize? Or being a narcissist, she's just not gonna do it? Let me know what you think she's gonna do in the comment section. And so we've reached the end of the video. I truly hope you guys liked it. If you did, go ahead and click like. Of course, don't forget to subscribe and click that bell icon so you get notified every time I upload a new video. Also, here are more videos from my channel that you might enjoy. And having said all that, I will see you guys on the next video.